If you start with nopCommerce and you are not clear understanding the architectures of nopCommerce, then you are struggling with plugin development, customizations, and the performance. In this video, I will break down the nopCommerce architecture in simple way for a .NET developer. Hi, I am Pankaj. On this channel, I will share real-world nopCommerce and .NET Core experience. Let's understand how nopCommerce actually works internally. So let's move to the architectures of nopCommerce. So let's briefly about the agenda of that. What nopCommerce built in on core architectures layer, request flow, plugin architectures, why architectures matter. Foundations of nopCommerce. That nopCommerce is built in .NET Core, uses entity framework core, modular monolith architectures, support plugin-based architectures. Use entity framework cores will be there. Modular monolith architectures, support plugin-based architectures. The core project structures. This will be a main structures that we need to understand the about the project structures, how it will be built, and what was the behind it. Like every project has its own role. Suppose this will be a Nop.Web, that will be a presentations layer. Nop.Service is a business layer will be there. Nop.Data, data access layer. Nop.Core, domain interface layer, and plugin that will be extensible layer. I will go to the code one by one. Uh, this one is the first presentations layer, Nop.Web. So this will be as in call presentations layers because of users will be showing from the Nop.Web. It contains about the controller, razor's view, model and view models, and handling incoming HTTP requests. So let's move to the code and I'll show you the presentations layer. This will be the nopCommerce architectures will be there. I'll download the nopCommerce uh, downloaded nopCommerce latest versions of that. And here is Nop.Web. If you can see the Nop.Web is there, that will be called as a presentations layer. And the reason is that this will be directly interact with the user interface. That's why it's called a presentations layer. Inside that you can see the controllers, models, and the views. Here the another things will be there. The area that is will be called as an admin. Whatever the admins has an access that like products will be added, order customer orders will be there. Everything's to be managed from the admin. It will be under the admins area will be. The controllers is separate for end users, and the controllers model is the separate for end users and the admins and the view as well. So this is will be a presentation layer that will be interact with the customers. The next one is business logics layer that will be an Nop.Service that contains a core business rules, product, order, customer, services, handle the calculations and validations, and the controller calls to the services. So if you can go to the library, here is the folders, this library, and if you can see the Nop.Services is a projects will be there. The separate projects is created. So in the between, I will be just pointing out note downs will be there. The nopCommerce is handling a very well maintained the code. If you see, if I'm a .NET developer, and it will be there that I can see the nopCommerce is well structured code will be there. So everything will be under the project folders will be there. Like if you want to find some things related the catalog, like catalogs has a category and products will be. So if you can open the catalog, it will be all related to the products, categories will be. So this will be the logics layer as I was showing in the slides will be there. That contains a real logics related the products and everything. So if you can open any of the services, and inside the services you can see the logics, how the interact will be there, and the business logics will be entered over here. The next one is data access layer. That will be a Nop.Data. The entity framework course will be used for the Nop.Data repository patterns, handles the database operations, and the service injects service interact with the repository. So in the code sides, we can see that Nop.Course will be Nop.Data is over here. It will be interact with the services, and services is called to the Nop.Data. The next one is core layer. That will be a Nop.Core. Core is like a domain and entities. Like we can create a, tables, and tables will be connected as Nop.Core directly with that. Like a product, orders, customers, interface, common interface, and shared model. All will be in the Nop.Core. Suppose if you can go to the here is the separate projects will be there. Nop.Core. Here you can see the domains. Inside the domains, all tables related entries over here. Suppose if you can open the category, here is the category entities will be there. If you can open the products entities and its fields will be. If you open the customers, there will be all will be there. And it will be, if you see the maintenance of this is good, because if you can see everything, if you want to search something about related customer, there is a customer folders. If you search related to orders, there will be an order folder. So open the customer, there is a customer entities, and here is the customers. So this will be a direct interact with that. How requests flow in the nopCommerce. So let's will be go to the wording wise first. There I will be showing in the code how it will be works. Browser send a request to the controller. Controller send a request to the services. Services send a request to the repository, and repository send a request to the database. The response will be the same. Like response will be coming from the database to the repository, repository to the services, and services to the controller. Let's move to the code, and I will explain you everything about one flow. Suppose if you hit the if you open the product detail page, let me opening a product controller. If you opening a product detail page, so what it should be do, like it will be called a product detail page will be there. So firstly, it will comes to the request to the controller with the product ID, and products will be called to the service. You can open this. This will be a service. You can see the services will be called, and that will be under the Nop.Services. And Nop.Services is called to the from the controller. Then Nop.Services is called to the data layer, Nop.Data. So this will be, I'll explain you, the controller call to the services, services call to the repository, and this will be the entity repository will be there under the Nop.Data. So this will be a Nop.Data, and Nop.Data is called to the database directly, and database is written to the repository. Repository is written to the services, and services is written to the controller, and controller is responsible to show the data to the front end and customer. So this is the completely structures will be there. Uh, Before going to the plugin architecture, let's show the real world examples for that. I will explain you how it will be. Suppose how it will be work. Suppose if you want to create a some forms from user interface, you can create forms, and users will be submitted data. Supposing the product detail page, you show the one form, and there is inquiry form, and inquiry forms will be just to be first name, last name, email, and the product SKU that will be submitted by the users, and it will be stored on the database. So firstly, you need to create a domain. So for domain, you need to go to Nop.Core under the domain and create a customer X as a folder. So if you that is a customer related, If you can create a new folder, that is a good options. If you related to the customer, you need to be an add on the customer folder. If you can create a customer X will be there, and the controllers create customer X. The fields that will be, suppose, an ID. ID is not required because it will be inherited with the base entity, and ID also there. So the customer is a first name, last name, and emails. That's the only required, and the SKU. That's the fields will be added over here. That is enough, and just to be inherited with the base entity. That is it for the Nop.Data. Then once the Nop.Data is set, the data like interconnected between the database and will be we have connected with the entities. So it will be automatically mapped with that. If you want to set some different name of the table, then you can assign the name compatibility over here. Suppose here our class name is product attribute mapping, but the table name is different. So if you want to do such like this, you can just do an entry of that. So it will be automatically mapped with the table entities. And the migrations. You need to add the migrations over here. That will be automatically run once the projects will be there. So tables will be automatically created. The migrations will be as simple. Whatever the .NET developers is also understand about the migrations. The next one is the service. Once you have the customer X folder is created, or inside the customer X, you will be created a customer service. Customer X service will be there, and I customer X service, and you can just insert customers. I will be there. I'll be opening. So this will be insert customers methods will be the same, like you will be create for customer X. Same will be you can create a customer insert customer as asyncs will be there. The domains that we already create there is pass over here, and insert repository will be called. So it will be directly insert to the customer X and will be. Then this is done. You are good enough for that. Now you are having over here to going to the presentations. Under that, you can create a new controller, that is the customer X controller.cs, and inside that you can just call the methods. Post methods will be pass the data for first name, last name, and the email and SKU. That will be mapped over here. Suppose if you are sending to the customer, and customer controller will be created, and methods will be created, and then you can just pass whatever the data models you have created, and the data models pass to the services. The services will be called to the repository, and repository will be insert the data. That will be a simple flow that I will be move forward. So this is enough for this. The one last thing is that once you have create any new services, you need to be inject dependency injection or register the services on the startup files. Like if you are seeing over Nop.Startups over here, once you create any kind of new services will be there. You can see all the services will be registered over here with AdScope. So once you have created a uh, I customer X service and customer X service will be there. You can just add new lines over here with the I service and service. So it will be a registrations of the services. So this is good enough to start with the nopCommerce. Just to forms create, put a submit buttons. Submit buttons will call to the controller. Controller will call to the service. Service will call to the repository, and repository saves the data. So this will be a complete flow. Will be. Now move to the plugin architecture, extended functionality without modification of code. This will be a plugin architecture is the key features of nopCommerce, because if you want to build any kind of plugins, that's no need to touch the core file of the core file of the nopCommerce. The plugin has a separate types of that. Suppose here I will mention about payment plugin, shipping plugin, custom features plugin, and that will be loaded dynamically at runtime. So let's show the plugins where it will be. In the nopCommerce, you can see there will be a separate folders of the plugins, and by default, nopCommerce has already provided as some kind of plugins is available. So if you can see, there will be a several payment plugins, like that is the types of that. The payments will be there, and there will be a few asset plugins as well, and some of them are the features plugins. So once you have to build any kind of payment methods, you can just create a new plugin, inject it inside the nopCommerce, and it's deployed. There is nothing will be changed to that, just to be maintained with the version. Building of the plugin is best options for the upgradation. That will be for sure. Because if you have to upgrade the nopCommerce and there is no any kind of customizations in the core, then you can entirely switch the nopCommerce version and just you want to upgrade the separate projects that you developed separately. And once you have upgraded this, your nopCommerce versions will be easily upgraded. So that's why the plugin is best option. So plugins has a separate features plugins that I mentioned over here. The custom features plugins will be there. The custom features plugins, that means if you want to show some products on the homepage, such like for ideas is today's sell product. So customers want to know like what are products that buy multiple times today. And we can show the numbers as well. Like this product is like five customers buy will be there, and this customer, this products will be like 100 time buys for today only. So this kind of business logics will be there for the plugins and need to show on the homepage. Okay. So this is our plugins that I will be covering in the next video. But yeah, the thing is that once you have doing this logics, that will be a separate. Once you have create a plugin, install it, and it will be play on different. And if you don't want to shade, just uninstall or disable the plugin. That will be separate part. And once you want to upgrade the nopCommerce version, suppose as of now is 4.9, will be there, and the next year the nopCommerce will be releasing a 5.0 or something else versions. You just need to upgrade your plugin. The nopCommerce will be stay as it is. You can just compatible your plugins with nopCommerce 5.0, and the plugins will be go on. So this is the best part of the nopCommerce. The dependency injections use nopCommerce. Use ASP.NET Core DI containers, loose coupling between the layers, improve testability, and enhance maintainability. So this will be the nopCommerce architectures that using the .NET cores that will be used multiple set. Decouplings will be between the layers. That means you have using the couplings between the things. The next one is like why understanding architecture is matter. If you are not understanding the correct architectures of the nopCommerce, suppose this is the file. Let's giving you an examples of that. This is the structures that I'll explain you. Like if the browser goes to the presentations layer of the controller call to the service is called to the repository, and repository call to the database, and database is written. So if you not understand this correctly, the structures of their, you are miss something once you are developing the plugins, and that will be effect of the performance of that. If you want to improve some site of performance and you don't know how ghosting will be there, like what part of the sites, like if slow will be from the front end, so you need to show the presentations layer. So slow in the business logics, you need to see in the Nop.Services. Slow in the database side, you need to show the pattern like repositories folders. So that's why the architectures that you need to be understood, and that architectures will following the same on the plugin level as well. Suppose if you will be opening any of the plugins, here it is there. That is Bravo plugins, that is nopCommerce default is created. So if you see, there will be a table is required for Bravo. It will be created domain folders. Same as we have showing on the library and Nop.Core, there will be a domain. So in the plugin as well, we can create a domain folder, and inside the domain folders, we can create whatever the entities like a table's names that we need to be. So this will be a domain. And then after we will require a services, Nop.Service, and inside the folders is there. So inside the plugins, we also create a service folder, and inside the service folders, we will create a service and iServices, whatever we require. That will be connected with the uh, direct repositories. So this is the second, and that the last one is the controller. The same as the presentations layer that will be interact with the users. So the same structures that we are following from the nopCommerce and the same structures in the plugin level as well. So that's why the structure is important to building that. So if you want to scalable plugins, like as of now, I explain you this Bravo plugins. So it will be same structure. So if you in the future someone else working with your, like suppose you have building a structure only, and you are handling hand over the code to anyone else, and he is knows about the nopCommerce architecture, and after that he will facing some issues. Suppose there will be fetch some issues to performance related, he needs to check the logics of the business what there. So he just need to goes to the services and services will be ready. So that's why we are need to be handled very carefully with the architectures. uh, Mostly once you have scalable will be that avoid to modify the core files like nopCommerce core file. If you are avoiding that will be helpful for the version upgradations. As I said already, the improved performance and the upgrade will be very safely. If you found this video is helpful to you, please subscribe this channel. I will share a practical knowledge of nopCommerce and .NET Core regularly. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.